listeners to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the doctor himself.
Buongiorno.
Oh, it's about to be.
It's about to be a buongiorno.
I'm gonna fucking buongiorno all over that shit.
Easy.
Oh my god.
Easy.
Hey, when in Rome.
Yep.
Buongiorno, like
Yeah.
the Romans do.
Yeah. Tell it there.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking buongiorno.
Um.
Do you want to join bone?
No, sir. Please get out of the line.
No, that's where I'm gonna do it.
Oh no, not in the forum.
If you're gonna do it anywhere, it's a forum.
I don't know. You can go to the Circo Massimo or something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start fucking young boys everywhere.
What?
Oh wait, that's the way the Greeks do it.
Yeah. I don't deny. Just go. That's that country.
Yeah. Oh,
obviously.
sorry. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that country.
I mean, ancient Greek.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
the young part
Yeah.
though? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I just thought Greeks just had like a cool gay streak.
No. Well, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
but also, yeah.
But more than other ancient.
They're just known for it.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of sucks. Like
That's kind of like their.
Greeks being like, they're doing it everywhere. I don't know what a Greek accent is.
Clearly,
It's pretty much Italian.
I have been learning a lot about Italian history and stuff the last few weeks. Well, specifically Roman history, which is
Sure.
different, and which
I mean, you should have just come to your boy.
but what
I've got it all right here.
What I didn't realize was that a lot of Roman emperors weren't Italian because they'd fucking they'd gotten fucking people from everywhere.
Well, but also, like, Italian as an idea didn't exist before, like, the 1860s.
Well, yeah, that too, but
like, in the early days, like, Rome starts with the Latins. Like,
Yes.
that region is Latia.
one
And
of
then
the things
there are Etruscans, and like
Yeah.
they were at war with each other in just like little areas. And then for a long time, there were a bunch of city states, and like Sicily was its own kingdom, Venice was its own kingdom, the Papal States was obviously its own kingdom. Other parts of Italy were controlled by other things at various times.
What I didn't
Italy
realize-
as like an actual country, they had to pick. The thing I learned about Italy is that they had so many different dialects, and some of them were so unintelligible to each other, and that might still be true, that they just had to pick a dialect to be Italian.
Oh, okay.
And what they picked was, I think, like Tuscan or something like that.
Sure, because like I mean, Sicilian is still like different,
But
and
like, yeah, and
Venetian is like
there's probably still a ton of like thick regional
Yeah,
accents,
yeah,
but they
yeah.
basically were like, if we're going to be a country, we got to pick one of these to be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
standard Italian. I think they picked Tuscan. I don't
America
remember,
should
but-
fucking do that, but
Oh, fucking shots fired.
that's right.
Yeah.
When in America.
Oh no. Out of school.
Yes. One of the things I didn't realize was that like when Rome, when that region was like fucking mud huts,
Yeah.
the Roman fucking mud hut was like that little village. The only reason why they were so successful was not even because they were like better from a military standpoint. It was just that every time that they would fight somebody, that they would then bring those people on as part of their like Roman like empire.
Yeah, I mean, Rome kept that practice,
But
So-
like that was new when they started doing that.
yeah, and also like it changed over time, but there was in a very like broad, rough sense, like they conquered an area, like a third of them would become slaves, a third
Yes.
of them would become citizens, and the
Yes.
other third would get like redistributed to other parts of the empire.
Yeah.
It was a
But they always got soldiers out of it. That was the
Yes.
whole thing.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
they would just fucking kill everybody.
But that was also the problem with them. Like all great military empires, if there's nothing left to conquer, or conquering doesn't no longer suffices for bringing in new like economic benefit.
Sure, then you start killing yourselves.
Well, then the people revolt, things go badly.
yeah, exactly. Well, each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of Rome.
Yeah. Welcome to the Dr. Rome fuck.
Yeah,
The doctorus et populus Romanus.
That's right. Podcast.
Yeah.
We're talking about DC Comics and the rest of the shit.
Yeah, SPQR, baby.
What?
Senate and People of Rome. SPQR.
SPQR.
Just everywhere you go in Rome, just promise me you'll do the entirety of the Maximus Decimus speech.
From Gladiator? Yeah.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the north,
That would be cool.
loyal to the true Emperor Marcus Aurelius.
I'd be the first one to do it. The thing that I do like doing is all the TikTok videos.
Oh, yeah, go to the Coliseum and just yell, "Are you not entertained?"
Yeah.
No one's done it.
There's no way. I do like all the people at the Tower of Pisa,
Yeah.
where they just like high five
fucking-
everybody.
with the hands.
We just go around and high five all the hands.
It's very funny.
I like that a lot.
You've got to go to the Leaning Tower of Pisa and then lie down and make it look like your dick.
Oh my god, I didn't even fucking
They'd be like,
think about
no
that.
one's done this.
That's crazy.
This man's a hero.
Make a statue of him.
Yeah, leaning on his dick.
Yeah. More importantly, is your dick tilted like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a joke, but also it's too real, man.
They've tried to straighten it over time.
I'm actually not going to Pisa.
you're not.
I'm taking a train through it.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure if I'm not sure what there is to see there other than the tower.
that's kind of why I'm not doing it, because I was
And
like,
you're only there for a little bit.
I'm there for 2 weeks, and like on the way from Venice to Cinque Terre.
Yeah.
There is like, it does go through it, but I'm like, I don't want to get off the train just to go there for 5 minutes and
That's
then
fair.
leave.
That's reasonable.
It's cool, but not cool enough.
Well, let's just say you can't do everything.
Yeah, no. If I was driving, maybe I would have, but
Sure.
taking trains the whole time, and the train system, though on time, is
Easy. That's why I went to. Well, yeah, I
Complicated.
forgot you're on your Axis Powers world tour.
fucking China next, baby.
What?
Russia, I mean.
Germany.
Germany, that's the one.
Jesus. Why are we sending you around the world?
I know,
the
and I get to, like, sent
historically
places,
literate
like-
person.
I get so I'm meeting. I forgot. I don't even know if I told you this week. One, I'm meeting with the European Consul General.
Yeah.
But I'm also meeting with the ambassador to Norway.
Sure.
Like a Thursday morning.
Sure.
Because they were like, the newspaper, there must know things. The guy at the top.
Yeah, do that accent for him.
Oh.
Is that Norwegian?
No, that was like a newsman.
Do Norwegian newsman.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna get it. I'm a newspaper man.
Oh no.
You try it.
Hang on. Hang on.
No, you got it.
Or me, I'm a newspaper man.
See, the problem is that you weren't trying to do the voice mixed with that.
I was trying, but I
You were
couldn't
just
get
doing try to mix in more of that voice.
Okay.
Though.
I've got a scoop for you.
It's just.
I can't.
It's just fucking Swedish Chef is
Yeah,
what it is.
I can't. Yeah,
It's not even fucking Norwegian. It's Swedish, you piece of shit.
You can identify the country by my bad accent.
I can fucking hear that dialect, you son of a bitch.
You piece of shit.
And spoiler alert, it's not good.
Oh my god.
I fucking Stephanie Browned your ass.
I forgot what the theme was for a hot second. I was like, what's the joke
You
here?
just got Stephanie Browned.
Yeah.
I just took you to Browntown.
Easy.
We're all going to Browntown today.
Yeah. Not to start things off on a brown note.
Whoa.
Is that real?
No.
The frequency that makes you shit?
No.
Oh.
It's a thing they tried to find, but no.
What do you mean they tried to
Like the
find?
government.
I mean, they probably did, but I love the idea of a government department being like, we gotta find the frequency that makes people shit.
Yeah.
For national security, we need to be able to make people shit themselves.
This is Team Browntown. What more distracting would that be in the middle of a war? Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm the chief scientist in charge of Project Oh No.
Yeah. Yeah, Project Drop a Load.
Yeah. Project Soil and
Ooh,
Brown. Yeah.
Nice. You didn't need to add the brown. It was good.
well, at any rate, yeah, we're talking about Stephanie Brown this week. Very. The people that like Stephanie Brown love Stephanie Brown. The people that do not like Stephanie Brown do not like
So Stephanie Brown created Spoiler, I'm guessing?
Stephanie Brown is the character. She has been at different times Spoiler, Robin, and Batgirl.
That's a real fucking like writer name.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But she comes around in the 90s. That's like peak Stephanie time.
True.
How many Stephanies did you go to school with?
I mean, that's true.
I went to school with a bunch of Stephanies.
Yeah. No Lauren, but it's good.
Actually, yeah, Stephanie, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
go on.
No. It's,
Finish that thought.
It's not a thing I should say.
Wow, the whatever flashed across your face there was.
Honestly,
It's a good thing this isn't a video podcast.
I knew one Stephanie, and she was a squirter.
I don't know that that's the detail I was looking for.
You pushed me to it.
I mean, barely.
Against my will.
Yeah, okay.
It's the first time I've ever experienced that. Like straight across the room. Wild.
Okay.
First question.
Well, now let's talk about a literal child.
Uh-oh. Let's go over to Facebook.
Going to the face in the book. Going to the Facebook.
From Gary Anchovy. Gary Anchetto.
What the fuck?
Much like anchovies, it's acquired
Listen,
taste.
you're going to Italy. You can have anchovies.
I fucking love anchovies.
I love anchovies too.
On pizza too.
Oh yeah.
You got to get it on the
Good
side.
luck getting
though.
them though. Like
you got to get them on the side though in oil, and so then you put them on yourself because otherwise, if they're baked into the pizza, they dry out in their shit.
No, you just get triple anchovy on the pizza.
Or that, yeah.
I used to order that all the time.
Really?
Yeah, when I was in high school. I
fish
fucking
pizza.
love a fish pizza.
You know what I don't like though is
I just specifically anchovies. I wouldn't want like salmon on a pizza.
I mean, I've had that. That was all right. With like a white sauce, it's not bad.
Yeah, who wants white sauce on a pizza?
Me, I don't like tomato sauce.
Yeah, well, you also say, give me the right sauce. You know what I mean. Every time we've ever gone out for dinner, you say that.
I get what I want.
Keep chanting right sauce, right sauce.
Gary asks, whatever happened to predictability? Newsman, the paperboy.
The Norwegian newsman, the paperboy.
Norwegian TV. Whatever happened to Proxy, Stephanie Brown's partner, who was the daughter of the calculator and provided her with tech support?
Good question. I mean,
People got iPhones and didn't need the calculator anymore.
Nice.
Fucking nailed them.
I mean, if anything, the iPhone has made it easier to use the calculator.
You know what's crazy is that the iPad didn't get a calculator until very recently in like the newest OS, because the guy that created there was some issue with the guy that created the app for the calculator on the iPhone, and they couldn't port it over.
That feels like a thing that shouldn't be a problem.
So what's hilarious is like in the announcement of the new iOS, they were like, and we got the calculator.
Okay, listen, on that note, that new iOS announcement,
yeah,
it did point out the things that are like not necessarily important, but it feels like we shouldn't have had to wait for 18 versions to get this, where he was like, hey, guess what? You could move your fucking apps around.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, we couldn't do that. I just don't. But I was like, you couldn't.
You can move them, but you can't like move them to. They
would always go to.
Yeah.
But like,
it is
like,
funny.
We fucking cracked it.
I do love that.
You're like a thing that Windows has been doing since the 90s. We finally figured it out on the most revolutionary phone on the planet.
I do like that. It's like, I mean, there is something smart to being like, if we hold some stuff, then we always have something to announce.
I mean, I agree, but at a certain point, during that announcement, I was like, are these announcements?
It's true. Especially
like, look, I can look at my photo when I open the phone.
But also, considering that fucking AI is being integrated into it, I don't think that matters.
No, at any rate, that's another topic, but it was just, I did find that funny about that.
So, calculator and Proxy.
My memory is there's a very specific story with the calculator. So the calculator was like a Silver Age Batman villain who then was reimagined in the 90s or 2000s or whatever as sort of like the anti-Oracle. So where Barbara Gordon was like the information broker computer whiz for all the superheroes. Calculator became that for
Could walk.
Jesus, good lord. Listen, you read Cataclysm. You know that walking was unimportant. She wheeled her way through that town like an
Yeah,
earthquake.
but do you know who
didn't
her
happen.
father is? Obviously, she's
Yeah, get me the chief of the fire station. So the Calculator became that for like villains.
Sure.
And so was coordinating like villain efforts. He would like in Identity Crisis, he's like handing off jobs to like lesser villains that, you know, like he's the information broker. He's putting people in touch with each other and stuff like that. For a profit, where Oracle does it to help, Calculator does it for
He's a real fucking Littlefinger.
I mean, in a way.
Yeah.
There's a story though where the Calculator like attacks Oracle with like nanites or something like that, and Stephanie is like pretty instrumental in helping there. And in that story, I'm pretty sure Calculator's daughter is in there. But I just don't remember if she really like stuck around a bunch after that. But I will say, basically New 52 on, I don't know that I've even heard reference to Proxy.
Wow.
I don't know that she exists even.
Not even for someone else.
You know, that's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just wait till I get my recursive joke.
I hate this.
Just wait till I get my recursive joke. All right, let's leave Facebook.
Deathly silent.
Head on over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them. Oh, that was explosive.
That's right.
That was good.
First question.
Oh.
I tried to explain the lock the door if you're coming in thing to Lindsay.
Why? Stop trying to explain this podcast to
She
her.
was just like,
This is built on 8 years of recursive inside jokes. And you're like, yeah, so the Ben Forrest Stewart, so we obviously lock the door if he's coming in.
and she's just like, wait, why? And I was like, well, because of Sean Connery. She's
I mean,
like,
she also has such a limited pop culture thing. Like, she doesn't know like movies everyone knows. Now you got to invoke Finding Forrester.
well, she's also like we had a joke right before I left where there's like a very like she's teetering on the edge of autism, and so very much just like, but that doesn't make sense. Like that.
I mean,
and so she was like,
again, the idea of you trying to explain this show to her.
she was like, well, why do there's so many other Sean Connery things? I'm like, that's what's funny is that it's like not a thing that people know
Yeah.
that Sean Connery did. And she was like, okay, but is that like a famous line? And I was like, no,
It was a trailer line.
It's a offhand trailer line.
Yeah, lock the door if you're coming in.
And she was like, why that one? I'm like, I don't know.
I guess you found Forrester.
It's like, I don't know, why do I only fucking sing God, I hope I get it?
Yeah, I mean,
Why do I sing a chorus line anytime?
it's definitely one of like. Listen, if you're listening on the Patreon, you know that for Challenge Month right now, I'm in therapy. And I will say, in the first week of it,
Yeah.
we're doing these like get to know you questions,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, like what makes you anxious, or like what happens that like, you know, irritates you or something like that. And I would name something that is like
Genuinely irritating.
genuinely irritating. It's just like a thing of mine. It's not saying like
It's a problem.
it's the problem. It's just like, this is a thing that irritates me.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's got their things. But as soon as you say it out loud, and someone goes like,
Huh.
and do you do it? Like, and you go like, yeah, I didn't say I didn't do, but it, like, immediately just sounds dumb. You know what I mean? Where you'd be like, you know, like I can't remember what the thing was that I said, but just like, it's just, you know, like everyone's got these arbitrary things. Like, I hate when the movies aren't in alphabetical order. And then he goes like, oh, and you go like, it's important. And you go like, it's not. But you know, like immediately you feel stupid about it. It must be the same sensation to explain jokes from this podcast, to be like, you know, be like, oh, so what's funny about that? You go like, well, it's funny because
It's not actually.
it's a line from a trailer from a movie that people don't remember. So what's funny about it is like that we do it.
Yeah. That we continue
You know,
to do.
like, it must be the same sort of level of humiliation.
It's like, I don't Because I'm fucking dumb. That's the thing that I say.
Giving voice to it like kills it.
Yeah. The amount of times I go, I don't know, because I'm fucking stupid. That's why.
I mean, it's a pretty good answer.
It's a thing I say pretty often at home.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyways, Ben Forrest Stewart says,
Yeah, lock the door if you're coming in.
that's right.
Lock the door if you're telling this joke again.
Why do they keep doing Stephanie dirty? The pregnancy, making her an incompetent Robin that Batman took on mostly to make Tim jealous, unceremoniously killing her and then retconning it. Batman didn't even have a monument to her in the cave. Having her finally have a great character moment by becoming Batgirl, only to have it end abruptly, breaking her and Tim up. What did she and us fans do to deserve this?
So, Stephanie Brown does have a rather tumultuous history. I mean, lots of superheroes, like arc to arc, get injured, and then they come back and they beat the villain. I feel like Stephanie Brown gets shot a lot, like over the course of her stories. This is probably a good opportunity, since so much was listed there, to just do like a sort of brief rundown of Stephanie Brown. So, she is the daughter of a sort of Silver Bronze Age Batman villain, the Clue Master, Arthur Brown. Clue Master is
raging clue for you.
I've got such a raging clue right now. Clue Master is basically the Riddler, but he doesn't leave riddles; he leaves clues.
What's the difference?
Clues.
Oh, okay.
Well, a riddle is like
a formatted.
It's like obscured. Clue. The clue is just like, I don't know, just put it in your computer. A clue is like an easier riddle.
Yeah. it's a riddle without the format, yeah.
A clue is a riddle that's had sex.
Nice.
I don't know, man. But the Clue Master was a relatively obscure one because people were like, we kind of already have one of these.
Yes.
And he's better. It's the Riddler.
Yeah.
And then in the 90s, they brought Clue Master back and then introduced that he had a daughter. The reason that she's called the Spoiler is because she realizes her dad is a criminal and that he's, after getting out of jail, he's going back to his criminal ways. And so her goal is to spoil his crimes. So she puts on a costume and goes out at night to ruin her dad's crimes.
Wow. Okay.
Which is an interesting angle.
Yeah.
And then she became basically like a supporting character in the Robin comic that was on right now. So Tim Drake is Robin at the time. And she becomes a supporting character.
Wouldn't that have been better for Riddler, not Clue Master?
I think they did it with Clue Master because he's obscure. So it's like we don't have to deal with
but
like...
you're not really spoiling
But
anything.
we don't have to like do like Riddler's daughter or something. Like,
sure, I guess, but it's less of like a spoiler.
Well, but spoiler didn't mean that back then. She was just spoiling his crimes. She was just ruining them.
Oh, I see.
The idea of like the don't give it away kind of spoiler isn't...
okay.
Wasn't really how we use that word.
Okay.
So she was a secondary character in this Robin book, and then they had like a romance, her and Tim and stuff like that. And there's kind of all these ups and downs, and like, she gets pregnant. She decides to give the baby away. She blah 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 blah. Like all this kind of stuff happens. She thinks Tim's cheating on her. He's not. She doesn't know Tim's real name because he's good at keeping secrets, and so that makes her jealous, and all these different things.
Sure.
Eventually, she gets fed up, and she basically demands to be Robin. She goes to Bruce, and like Tim had hung up the cape at some point. His dad had made him because his dad found out that he was Robin and was like, absolutely not, boarding school for you. And so she's like, I should be Robin. And Bruce is kind of like, this will kind of like piss Tim off. So, and maybe Tim will come back. So sure. And so we do that. We've talked about War Games, that arc where she tries to prove herself by enacting one of Bruce's like big plans. He has this plan to like take out all the gang activity in Gotham, but the plan hinges on Matches Malone. And she doesn't know that that's a Batman alias. So she enacts the plan, but without Matches Malone, it ignites a gang war in Gotham, and she ends up getting captured and tortured and killed. We've talked about this. Leslie Tompkins, the doctor, lets her die so that no more kids will join Bruce's crusade. That's later retconned that they fake her death and stuff like that. And eventually, while Bruce is, quote, dead during Final Crisis and after Final Crisis, she becomes Batgirl. A Batgirl in and around, because Cassandra Cain had given up being Batgirl for a bit. So she's had this kind of long history, but like she's always getting shot. She's always being put in a position where she's the impetuous one that's not as well trained or not as disciplined or whatever, which is fine as a character thing, but it means that she's always the one kind of being victimized in some way.
Yeah.
And there are some reports that she sort of existed for that.
Oh.
That she was sort of introduced, but then people liked her, so they kept the character around, but then it was said a couple of times that it was like the plan was always to kill her, or like,
oh, interesting,
like make her Robin and then kill her, just like, and then in the comics, Bruce didn't have a monument up to her and stuff like that. Dan DiDio was on record saying like, we don't really consider her a Robin.
Wow.
Like,
of course,
if there's gonna be someone, you know. In continuity, eventually Batman's like, I knew you faked your death. I suspected you did. That's why I didn't put up a monument to you. Shifty eye, shifty eye. But there is this sort of like, she's kind of the other one. Cassandra Cain is like solid. She's in there as a character that we know what to do with, blah, blah. I think nowadays, Spoiler's in an okay spot, or Stephanie Brown is in an okay spot, but like, truly, that's a character that's had some like crazy ups and downs. Because honestly, her relationship with Tim, like her chemistry with him, is very good. Like it's one of the better parts of that Robin book. But then they just keep doing this kind of shit to her, which sucks. I don't know what she did to deserve it. I think the answer is that she's a girl, and
that's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, well, that's my position on it. No, no, but you know, like I do think there's some of that in there.
Course. Yeah.
But yeah, she's technically the fourth Robin. She was Robin before Damian was.
Sure.
Yeah.
Next question from Copy 801, who asks, how do you feel about her Batgirl run with Barbara and Cassandra?
So that's like in the kind of post-Rebirth era. It's very fun. I like it. They moved to like a kind of shitty part of Gotham, and they're like living together, and Barbara's kind of mentoring them. And I like Cassandra and Stephanie kind of being like sisters. Like, and Cassandra's like quiet and like brutal, like
sure,
trained martial artist and like stealthy and scary. And Stephanie is like quippy and lively and more techie. She can do some of the stuff that Barbara can do, like computer hacking and things like that. I think they're a good pair. And then to have Barbara as Oracle kind of like sending them, it's like a mini Birds of Prey just in Gotham, but they're like younger. Like,
yeah,
it's a fun idea. I really like it. I think it's pretty good. I don't know that we do necessarily a ton of deep like character work on them in that run.
Sure.
But it is fun. The vibes are good, and the art of that book is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, Alfred Azadi wants to know, spoiler, Robin or Batgirl, which persona seems to fit Stephanie Brown the best?
Right. So I'm gonna piss people off here because the Stephanie Brown heads just want her to be Batgirl, and what I like about that Batgirl's book is that we treat the name Batgirl as, you could call them Batgirl, but you should probably also be able to differentiate them in the field.
Sure.
To me, with Stephanie's personality, spoiler is the right mantle. Let her wear the bat. You know, like, I'm not saying she has to wear the spoiler costume with no bat on it. Like, let her wear the bat. Let her be a Batgirl.
Sure.
But the thing I like about Stephanie is that she is kind of like impetuous, and she is sort of like flippant and like quippy, and she can get angry.
It feels like a unique character. Yeah.
I would actually say she's like kind of somewhere between Dick and Jason.
I wonder if I would really like her.
I think you would.
God, has Jeff Johns done a fucking run yet?
Of her,
Yeah.
no.
God, that would be such a good Jeff Johns run.
But you probably would like her. She is somewhere between Dick and Jason, I would say.
Sure.
She has the kind of like, she could get the sort of blind rage or like the I'll fucking show you kind of thing that Jason has. But she also has Dick's kind of like, wee, kind of like, flip out of the way, make a villain feel stupid before you like hit him with a stick kind
Very
of
like
thing.
Spider-Man-y kind of thing. Like,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
feels like, I'm surprised Johns hasn't done it.
But the thing that I like about that attitude and the fact that she's a hacker, like her skill set and stuff too, spoiler feels right. Like she's out there to ruin their day. She's not necessarily like, we're all crime fighters. We're all stopping crimes, but there's an attitude to ruining their day that's different. Where it's like, you can just stop a crime or you could like make them feel bad about it.
Which I like, yeah.
And I think being spoiler as a mantle, as a name works for me. She can wear the bat. Like I think some people get real testy about that because like she should be in the family properly, blah, 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 whatever. But it's like, fine, call her a Batgirl or let her, like if they want to go like, here's the Batgirls, whatever. But like in the field, surely we should be able to differentiate between
the different Batgirls.
Cassandra Cain and Barbara, who still sometimes suits up, and her. Might as well call her spoiler. And I do think that fits her personality. It is her where she originates. I think that makes sense.
Which also kind of, I mean, that sort of quippy nature does kind of play to the new intent of the word spoiler.
Well, yeah, there's that too. Yeah, the idea that like, she figured out what their crime was before. Mm-hmm. And she's there to ruin it.
She like post a meme of it like after they.
I mean, she could do that too. Yeah.
I like that.
But yeah, to me, that's the one that fits, and I get why people just want her to be Batgirl or whatever. I don't think anyone like needs her to be Robin again. I think they just want her recognized for having been Robin.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my pick.
Next question. Holy shit comes from Dr. Travis Langley.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Who asks, I love this character. Always have. One of my favorites. I'll go for something less obvious than adolescent rebellion as a superhero origin. Her interactions with Damian during Brian Miller's Batgirl run brought out the best in both of them.
Yeah, so I had asked if there were any specific kind of runs or story moments or things that past guest of the show, Dr. Travis Langley, enjoyed
incredible best. Writer for psychology and DC Comics and other shit.
And so threw that out. Stephanie and Damian have a very funny relationship. I will say my asterisk on this is I think some of the writing hasn't aged that well.
Sure.
But the vibes of it are great. So everything I just told you about her personality, now imagine a kid as self-serious as Damian coming in, and imagine how she would deal with him. And it's like, where Dick is like kind of like, lighten up, it's okay. Or like, someone else just would yell at Damian or just be like, that's not how we do things or whatever. She's like, is that how you're going to do it? Are you going to do it like that? Like, oh, is the little assassin going to do this? Like, she'll like fucking needle him.
Wow, I love that.
The stuff that hasn't aged as well is there's a lot of just weird body comments that Damian makes about Steph. Like about her like patting her suit, or at one point he calls her fat girl. He's like, I can't believe your fucking grapple can hold you, or like some shit like that. Like that stuff has not aged well. But I love her needling him. There's runs where like she makes him go undercover, like dressed as a kid, and he's like, I hate this, because he just hates being in like a t-shirt and a baseball cap kind of thing.
Sure.
Like, it's got that kind of like, she has like an older sister vibe to him that I think is really fun. And what's interesting on the reciprocal side is, as much as she's being kind of needly or whatever, she does have stuff to teach Damian. She is also, rash and impetuous and stuff like that. And she's learned some hard fucking lessons from it. So she almost has more of a window into where Damian's coming from than some of the others. Cassandra Cain would be a good other one as well, especially with the like assassin training thing.
Yeah.
But I think Stephanie maybe has a more human way to connect to Damian and to and to have a perspective that's like the assassin shit's not everything. You know what I mean? And there's something interesting about that. They really do have like a brother sister kind
Sure.
of like rivalry thing of like, no, don't do that. Like you could see them like slap fighting in the back of the Batmobile or something. I think it's a fun dynamic. I enjoy that.
I want Bendis to write.
Bendis
Spoiler.
would be good for
Fucking
Stephanie Brown.
so good. Ugh, because is he still doing stuff at DC?
No,
Because he was doing a little bit of Superman, wasn't he? Or?
he was for a bit, but no, he's not. Although, was he? She was on Young Justice, so did he write her during that?
Interesting.
Yeah.
God, I gotta check out that show. Fucking
Yeah.
the amount we talk about.
Well, no, sorry, the Young Justice comic from when Bendis was at
Oh.
DC. I think she was on the team
Oh.
during that time.
Interesting.
I think.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh, or am I getting confused?
Probably.
Probably.
Next question from Jalen.
Whatever. It's like 400 and something episodes in.
Yeah. This is the spoiler episode to end all spoiler episodes.
Yeah, baby.
Jalen Johnson 9 asks if you could send.
Can't believe there are 8 Jalen Johnsons the game before.
Yeah, fucking get a more original name.
Ugh.
If you could send Steph to a city other than Gotham, a la Nightwing in Bloodhaven, where would she go? What would her mission be? And who is a non-A-list villain that you'd pair her with as a main foe in this new city?
Interesting. Interesting. Well, just given sort of this very cursory kind of
Yeah.
info on her, where would you send Stephanie Brown?
Coast, maybe?
Coast City, home
Yeah.
of Green Lantern.
Yeah, like a city that like doesn't have like a ton of villains, or
Sure.
you know what I mean, like and are heroes too.
Yeah,
I think that.
Green Lantern's busy in space.
Well, yeah, like it feels like and it feels like a city that's a bit more light, which feels like the based on a little bit that I know about her, that
Right.
could work out, you know, like
Right.
And would be like again, like how much of Coast do we really get beyond with Green Lantern, you know?
I mean, not a ton. Yeah.
Maybe Mongol.
Oh shit! You want to put her up against fucking big ass alien threats?
Yeah.
Jesus, really graduating to the A leagues there first.
I mean, or you just go Calculator, but
yeah, it's funny. I went basically the exact opposite
sure.
of you. I think I would send her to Hub City. That's the home of the Question.
Okay.
Hub City is described as making Gotham look like Metropolis.
Jesus.
Um,
Then what's Bloodhaven?
like between those two.
Okay.
I would send her to Hub City, home of the Question.
Sure.
And I think it would drive the Question nuts because he's like, no, I have this like carefully calculated, like faceless fear, like
And she's like carefully calculated.
yeah, and she's just like showing up and being like, hey, like I mean,
Sure.
not like that.
Is she the one with like the short hair, the red hair, or whatever?
No, blonde hair.
But
No,
who's
no, the
one with red?
short red hair. That's from the Dark Knight Returns. That's like an alternate universe. That's the Frank Miller, like old Batman coming out of retirement.
No, the girl though.
Yes,
Oh.
that's what's her name? Cassie.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay.
Carrie Kelly? Sorry,
Okay.
that's in that book. No, so I would put Stephanie Brown in Hub City
Okay.
to bring that kind of like chaotic, needly kind of, and like again, I keep emphasizing that she is a very like capable crime fighter, but the energy of her is so off from the Question or something like that. And I guess as a bad guy, maybe like Intergang or something, like Bruno Mannheim
Sure.
or something,
Yeah.
something like that.
That feels on her level.
Yeah, on her level, but also like there's a window open
Capable.
to like some like alien tech stuff for her to hack, stuff for like.
Well, that's sort of my Mongol idea. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. But yeah, so I would go with Bruno Mannheim maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Let's move on from Instagram over to Reddit.
Where everyone's nice, no one's ever mean. Nice.
Our Pit the Hero.
Fuck yeah.
Who asks, there was a version of Stephanie Brown becoming a Blue Lantern in Batgirl number 24. Do you think Blue Lantern suits her, or some other emotional spectrum would be better suited?
So as I recall, this is a hallucination.
Okay.
I think she gets trapped by the Black Mercy, that plant that like feeds you like good dreams.
Feed me.
It's the one from the For the Man Who Has Everything, the Superman book. Yeah, like Audrey too. You know, the kind of sticky licky sweets I crave.
I knew you couldn't not.
I'm pretty sure it's just a hallucination in the Black Mercy, but we see her as a Blue Lantern and Damian as a Red Lantern. Something like that. Do I think Stephanie Brown is hopeful enough to be a Blue Lantern? I guess it's not a bad one. Of all of the emotional spectrum things, it's probably the one that fits best.
Sure.
Probably. Although, strong case to be made for Will.
I was going to say.
She just gets that like, I'll fucking show you sort of thing, and then just makes it happen, you know, becomes Robin, becomes crime fighter, becomes Batgirl. Like, strong case to be made for Green, for Will, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Next question. Acknowledge me! Asks, outside of the Bat family, what DC team...
That was the Halifax Harbor guy. Acknowledge!
Yes.
Acknowledge!
Nice.
It's another joke for Stump.
What DC team do you think Stephanie would be a good fit for in the current DC landscape?
What team do I think she'd be a good fit for? I mean, I guess it's not a far leap from being on Young Justice, but you could put her on like the Teen Titans. Not the Titans.
Yeah.
But like the Teen Titans.
That is my immediate like knee-jerk reaction.
You could put her on there. Maybe that's too easy. I think you could put her on... Yeah, interesting. I wonder... I mean, I think you could right now Cassandra Cain is on the Birds of Prey, and that works really well, and I really like that. You could easily put Spoiler in there too, and I think that works, but you don't want to overload it with Bat people. You know, like Barbara's already in there, and Cassandra Cain, and but you could theoretically put her on the Birds of Prey. Another team in the current landscape where she would fit. Yeah, that's tricky. I think she could have fit fine in the very short-lived New Justice League that John Kent made when the Justice League was presumed dead in Dark Crisis. John put a team together that included like both Blue Beetles and like Harley and like a bunch of like, it was a weird Justice League. Dr. Light, like a bunch of stuff like that. Stephanie probably could have fit on that team, I think. Yeah. Do you have any?
The Outsiders?
Yeah, I mean the most recent Outsiders was very Bat heavy. It was it had Duke Thomas on there, and yeah. She'd probably fit in there just fine. Yeah, I kind of feel like it is funny, despite her having been on Young Justice, and despite, you know, she could probably fit on the Teen Titans. I actually feel like she doesn't fit great there. Like, you're trying to think, like, where would she fit best? And you go, like, I guess there. But you kind of also go, like,
I
almost prefer her either on her own or just, like, small family unit, like the Batgirls, like Barbara and Cass and her. Like, I like her as this sort of, like, operator in the
Justice League Dark.
Interesting. I mean, she has no magic connection.
No, but
I
like this idea again of like having as a small sort of like integral role, a group of people that like need tech, don't even consider technology.
I see what you're saying.
And I think like there's such like a juxtaposition between her and those characters.
Yeah,
It could be a fun addition.
sure. I see what you're saying.
Maybe for like a one-off or like a small run or something.
Yeah,
I think that could be fun.
Yeah, sure.
All right, next question from Diaper Gal Kate. Oh, mummy.
I don't like this new drop.
Oh, mummy. Kate needs a diaper. I
don't know, man.
Who asks, what is something she does better than the rest of the Bat family?
Ooh, that's a good.
Because she's not better at tech than like Oracle.
Yeah, see, that it's a good question. Is she a better hacker than Barbara? No. Is she a better detective than Tim or Bruce? No. Is she a better fighter than Cassandra? No. Interesting. I mean, it's a cop-out answer, but Stephanie is a pretty good balance of most of them.
Sure.
She's a very good fighter, and she does kind of have the lighthearted. There's a joyful thing to it, like Dick has.
She's more malleable, maybe.
She's got a call it a passionate streak, like Jason. She's a decent detective, like Tim. She's she's a very competent like computer person, sort of engineer kind of thing. Like Barbara, like she's kind of in the middle of them. If it was one of those like 4-way like graphs, where it's like, like
or a Venn diagram.
No. Well, I meant like the ones where it's like on one axis it would be like easygoing, uptight, and the other one would be like skilled, unskilled. She'd be like near the middle of the group, wherever
neutral good, yeah.
Wherever they're like dots lined up, she'd kind of be in the middle of that cloud, which is a cop-out answer. It's not like a singular thing, I guess.
I think a malleability though is like she can kind of like however whatever she needs to be.
I do think she's maybe got a better sense of like, what's the way to put this? Bruce might have like psych profiles on people.
Sure.
And stuff like that. But I think in the room, Stephanie knows what will get someone's goat. Like
she understands people.
I think she reads, I would say specifically criminals well.
She understands. She has like emotional like intelligence.
Yeah, and you line that up with like her dad is a criminal, and so maybe she knows a bit from seeing that.
Sure, yeah.
I think she knows how to get under their skin. She knows, I think, what the next move is. I think she has a more intuitive, I'd say, detective sense than it being strictly like this clue leads here, this goes to there. I think she kind of just like feels it.
Yeah,
I'd give her that.
Sure.
I think that's not unreasonable. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, let's go to the doc score.
Fuck. Doxing, you're scoring your ducks. Doxing, you're scoring your ducks. Yeah, I know. And I just keep saying dox scored. Yeah. The dogs, they are scolding.
Great song.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm back at that Italian-Irish pub again.
Wait, hang on. What was it called again?
It was Omaggio's.
Omaggio's. That's so funny.
Omaggio's Kildare House. Yeah.
Fuck.
My favorite.
I love
that. First question comes from We've Only Just Dandon, who asks, do you miss her using the 3-section staff as much as I do? Does anyone?
I do. I mean, listen, a 3-section staff is fucking cool. It's cool as hell.
What's a 3-section staff?
Have you never seen one?
Is it the one where it's like they like come apart?
So, you know how nunchucks are 2 short sticks attached by a chain?
Yeah. This is one long
A 3-section staff is like each section is like this long.
Yeah.
And then there's short chains that attach
Yes.
to two more of them.
Okay.
So you can use them in kind of like box formation. You could hold the center, and it's probably ends up being about like, 8 or 9 feet long.
Did you know how to use one of those at any point?
Yes, but I was more of a bow staff kind of
course you
specialist.
Classic Leonardo.
No, Donatello.
Sorry, Donatello. Yes.
Yeah. And I fucking love doing machines.
Oh, you like doing machines?
I guess where we know where I got that prompt. Yeah, so 3-section staff is cool. Listen, speaking of the Ninja Turtles, I am kind of a sucker for people having like a signature thing.
Yeah.
I
who
like
doesn't?
I like Dick having the Eskrima sticks.
Yeah.
Like I like Damien has a sword.
Yeah.
Or
I love that shit.
Tim
yeah.
is kind of like the staff guy.
Yeah.
I kind of
It's
dig
cool.
having like a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, even just based on that and that alone, I would want her to have a 3-section staff. The thing with the 3-section staff is it's a little cumbersome.
I can only imagine.
It's not exactly like a pop out of the shadows and ruin someone's day kind of weapon,
Sure.
but it is fucking cool.
It's cool for multiple villains, but yeah.
And it's like big and slow is the other problem.
Yeah.
Even when you're fast with it, it's slower than other weapons.
Sure, of
But
course.
if you get hit with that fucking thing, you're down.
Yeah.
It packs a wallop. I'm even just on that
Pro.
Jason's got guns, Dick has a Eskrima sticks. Like, yeah, give Steph a 3-section staff.
Batman fucks a fleshlight.
I was in here the other day.
What do you mean you don't want my goo?
Head on over to the Patreon to figure out what this is about.
I'll turn it upside down and pull it out for you. Me fuck, no one.
Why did you say I came?
Sir, we could see this thing is he's all
Again,
gunked up.
joke from the Patreon that we've
Yep.
migrated over.
Fuck yeah.
Batman returning a used flashlight.
Speaking of Finger Stripes 13,
Nice.
is it true that the Nightwing in the Smallville continuity is Stephanie Brown? I dig that purple suit. Is the Nightwing identity at all unique to Stephanie in that universe? Or did they just take Dick's name and give it to her to be different?
Oh, see, that's tricky. So, for a while, there was this comic called Smallville Season 11.
Wild.
Where they were doing like the continuing adventures basically of Smallville Superman.
Now that he's actually Superman.
Now that he's actually Superman, then they brought Batman in. They brought
Oh, wow.
they like
cool.
expanded the way that the show couldn't. They did that kind of stuff. And at one point, they do introduce a Nightwing, and that Nightwing is Stephanie Brown.
Interesting.
This is a full guess because I admittedly was not reading Smallville Season 11. Dick Grayson must exist, but is doing something else.
Sure.
And I don't remember if it's that he passed the mantle or he just was never Nightwing, or you know what I mean? Like, because like Bruce is Batman, I'm pretty sure, in that one.
Yeah.
He must exist, but yeah, I think she was just Nightwing. My guess is that Dick was Nightwing, and then
From what I'm reading, it is he wasn't.
no,
Yeah. He just.
interesting.
So maybe he was never even Robin then.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that kind of tracks for Smallville though too. Like even on the show, the Flash they introduced was Bart Allen,
Oh, wow.
right? Like from the future. And in the episode where they introduce him, he has all these fake IDs, and one's like Barry Allen and one's Wally West.
Wow.
Stuff like
Weird.
that.
Okay.
So it kind of tracks for Smallville to like pick a weird one, you
Sure,
know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. It wasn't on the actual show, but it was in that comic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bisexual Lad asks, did she really have no training before she started jumping off rooftops? How did she avoid dying on day one?
over the years, she's trained with Tim. She's trained with the Birds of Prey. She's trained with Bruce. She's trained with Barbara. Nowadays, when you see Stephanie Brown, she's as trained as any
of the
other
Robins, yeah.
any other, Bat Family kind of person. In the early days, I can't remember if they implied that she had some sort of like gymnastics background or something like that. Like, I feel like they did something like that where it's like, yeah, maybe she didn't know all of that, but she
wasn't like a fighter, maybe. But.
She wasn't like, I've got no balance. Like, it wasn't like, there's a certain suspension of disbelief in a comic book that you just kind of go with. But I do think that because at first she would just put on the spoiler costume and go and ruin her dad's crimes.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, she's like, I actually kind of like stopping crime. And then she starts learning from Robin. Yeah, my guess is that she must have some kind of like, I did gymnastics in high school kind of like, or I'm doing it in school sort of thing that they just use to write in that she can like stand on a ledge or or climb a thing, or you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I think the idea for the most part is that it's not like she was like from some, martial arts seminary or something that like
just
came back to
scrappy.
God. She's scrappy. Kind of like Jason in that way too, a sort of scrappy kid from. She wasn't living on the street like Jason, but like her dad's a criminal and he was in prison for a lot of her life, so you could sort of infer
she's pretty determined,
and independent and stuff like that. Yeah.
Next question from Cosmic DM Crunchy,
Nice.
who asks, "Do you think her role in War Games redeemed or condemned the character?"
We've talked about War Games a lot on the show over the years,
yeah, of course,
and I think. Put it this way. I think it is totally in character and interesting of her character to want to prove herself, to be a little bit rash.
I want to be the very best.
To not necessarily have thought of every outcome the way that Tim or Dick or Bruce would or something.
Yeah.
I think that's good and that serves her character. I think what War Games did, though, was accidentally reinforce that she shouldn't have been Robin. Like, it's as interesting as it is to have her just become Robin and then be like, well, I almost got fired from it, but I'll prove myself and blah, blah, blah. And then fucking start a gang war and then get killed. And I think specifically to have it like, even the retcon of it being a faked death, it's such an iconic thing, and it means that concretely, like maybe her most widely known story, her most well-known story is about her fucking up and then dying. Not even fucking up and fixing it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a big difference there. You can fuck up and fix it. Or things can go wrong, and then you can... When Dick becomes Nightwing during the Judas contract, shit's going poorly, and then he becomes Nightwing, and he turns it around. Jason Todd, the difference with that, like, Death in the Family, the difference there is that Jason doesn't fuck something up. He is, like, impetuous and... he wants to go, blah, blah, blah. But the Joker tricks him, traps him, tortures him, and kills him. Jason didn't like go like, I tried to do a Batman thing and I fucked it up. He just falls into a trap. Like, you know what I mean? This one, Stephanie fucks up, does not fix it, dies. And I think it kind of solidifies the wrong lessons about Stephanie Brown. I would say, even for me, I've had to come around on her. I kind of go like, yeah, it's Stephanie. Because I go like, I would say in general, I'd go like, I like Cassandra Cain better as Batgirl. I like Barbara better as Batgirl. I prefer Dick as Robin. I like, and you kind of go like, what's left for her? I think even for me, I've had to come around on like what she brings to the table, why she's there, why she deserves to be there. And War Games kind of does the opposite of that.
Oh, wow.
And it's not necessarily the fault of War Games, but I think because so much of the lead up was like, I'm going to try and be spoiler. And then Tim's like, I want to. She's like, I want to be Robin. And then she kind of fucks up, and then Batman fires her. And she's like, this is how I'll get unfired. And she fucks up worse. And it's. And the aftermath of it, where we don't treat it like when Jason died. We don't put a monument up. We don't put it like. We have to retcon all this shit later because we're mostly just ignoring her. I actually think it condemned the character a bit to be the character that fucks up, the character that's not good enough, that didn't belong in the Bat family. I don't think she's there anymore. I think now she's like totally earned it. We've had like that Batgirl run later is great, and I think she's moved past it now. But I think War Games really, beyond the fact that she was dead and disappeared from comics for a bit,
Sure.
I think really hurt her.
Sure.
As the impression of her as a character.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, with that, the last question from the Moral Compass of the Doc Squad asks, if Bruce is trying to rescue his own childhood through the stewardship of Robin, how does Stephanie Brown, Robin, fit into that?
Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, if we take that as a given, that part of what Bruce sees in, if we call it the Robin program,
Sure.
is providing an avenue for these kids whose path could go worse. You know, Dick was in the exact situation Bruce was in, and so he gives him a path. Jason was on the street. He gives him a path to give him direction and stuff. Tim becomes Robin because he's like, you need a Robin because you're getting fucking angry out there.
Yeah.
Great. You know, Stephanie has a super criminal father, and has little bit of that Tim thing in her of like, I want to be Rob, like, give me this sort of thing. And Bruce, unfortunately, he, you know, I don't think he at the time thinks she's good enough for it. But he also kind of goes along with it because it'll bug Tim. Because, again, Tim was out of the game at that time. And it's sort of a shitty thing of Bruce. I think if we were to retroactively, like, or Bruce even, you know, in the aftermath, sort of accepting her in the family, that's the lesson that we kind of learned from Stephanie is, like, I think maybe Bruce didn't want to train her because it feels like maybe she was like, she had enough going for her that she didn't need this. She's smart. She's skilled with a computer. Good kid, you know, clearly not following in her father's footsteps. Like, you don't need this. You should be a kid. You should have a relationship. You don't have to go fight crime. You don't have to be one of these soldiers or whatever, you know, like that kind of Batman thing. That's not why Batman is like, I don't know if I want to train you. It's more because he like doesn't trust her or whatever. I mean, if anything, after Jason and after Tim, like, and Tim's dad finding out and stuff like that, Bruce might be at his most insecure about the idea of Robin.
Sure.
And then for War Games to happen, Leslie Tompkins is like almost right.
Wow.
To like let her die, quote, 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 gets retconned later. Yes. Yeah, I don't know a good answer to this question ultimately.
But maybe that's why she doesn't fit perfectly as a Robin. You know?
But I think that's also part of it, like for good and bad. I think people like look at her as Robin and you go like, but what are we supposed to like learn from this?
Yeah.
And it's also such a short run stint as Robin. Because, again, the idea was like, we'll make her Robin, we'll do War Games, she'll die. What a twist. And then she never really went back to being Robin after that. So Yeah, it's if anything, she's got more of a true like Batgirl trajectory, which is that she was going off and doing her own thing, just like Batgirl. Batgirl wasn't Robin first.
Yeah.
She was like, no, Batman inspired me, and I'm going to do this.
I'm gonna be a Batman.
She was inspired by Robin, but she was doing
Yeah.
this thing. But she has more of a Batgirl trajectory, which would support the people in the Batgirl camp for her than she does a Robin one.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if anything, the thing with her as Robin is it's actually like maybe in a meta sense, it's like there's more than one way to enter this life, and the Robin thing isn't for everyone. You know, like and she was actually probably better off not having been Robin.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. She didn't fit Bruce's mold. She still doesn't fit Bruce's mold.
Yeah.
And it ultimately
be spoiled.
trying to be like Bruce gets her killed.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe the lesson there is that is for Bruce to let go. Bruce has got this thing about God, like my city, my rules, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Which, you know, in the broad sense is fine. Don't kill, right? That's fine. But like he does this shit with Huntress. He did it with Batgirl. He did it with Spoiler. He does it with, you know, Clown Hunter. He does it with Harley. Like anyone in that city. And sometimes he's right because these people kill or whatever. But it's also like, I don't know, like you're not the only way to do this. Even look at your friends in the Justice League or whatever, right? So maybe that's the lesson of her as Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the last question. We would love to hear from your residents. Maybe you can send in a question for a future episode.
Mm-hmm.
You can reach out to us through our
It's
various...
October next week.
And I will be here.
The spookiest thing of all is Richard will be in Italy.
Ching, ching, ching.
Nope.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Halloween.
No, hang on. That's what we do for. Oh no, that's what we do for Darkness.
No.
Oh, I fucked up last year during Christmas time.
That's what it was.
So I tried to do the opposite.
Yeah,
a spooky voice saying Christmas things.
Yes, and you couldn't figure it out.
Silent night.
Yeah.
Holy fright.
All right. But the problem is that you couldn't figure out what the actual...
And I think I kept fucking up songs.
The platform
Yeah,
was.
and I got it wrong, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Ho, ho, ho. Happy Halloween. Darkmas, fuck. October. Inkers. October is next week. A month of spooky themes. You'll see them posted.
And I'll be stoking the Axis fires.
Yeah, Richard will be on, like, taking notes on his Axis Powers tour of the world.
So you can send questions through all of those platforms on social media.
Dr. DC Podcast, wherever you find us.
Also, if you've been wondering why we keep making jokes about fleshlights.
Oh, yeah. Head on over to the Patreon. What a horrible lead-in. It's challenge month right now on the Patreon, and we last week we just did our obscure impressions challenge. What was the one before that? Oh, basketball for money. Oh yeah, I owe you money. And obviously our monthly challenges. Richard is committing crimes. I'm going to therapy.
I'm on a spree.
Yeah, I'm going to therapy. And this week our final challenge as well. Sincere parody songs. Unfunny parody songs.
Get ready for that.
So get ready for that. Head on over to patreon.com/DrDC. At all the levels, you get access to the Doc Squad. At the higher levels, you get Challenge Month episodes of the Double Dose and all sorts of other stuff. And at the highest level, you get rewatch podcasts like Toretto Talks, Bonding Time, Cerebros. It all helps to support us.
That's right. And including us is another us. The version of us that is not this, but
Ghostfacers, a supernatural rewatch us. We're going through every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We talk about real world monster lore, which this week was cougars. We talk about behind the scenes stuff about the show. And we're partway through season 10. We just passed the 200th episode of the show.
wild.
So yeah, go check it out.
That's it for this week.
Adios.
Ciao, ciao.
all the superheroes. They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure, they are men of